Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review I am very happy to be showing you the Marvel Legends, Marvel Studios' first 10 years Iron Man Mark VII. You guys know I gave up on the movie figures for Marvel Legends not that long ago, except for Iron Man figures, and so I'm very happy that they released this one, and I'm very happy to tell you that it's a very good figure. Now I was going to compare it to the old Mark VII figure that they made, but it turns out they didn't, or I just can't find mine. I'm pretty sure they didn't because I went through all of my figures and I can't find it, so it must not exist. But I have one similar to compare it to, so you can see the upgrades from the old standard figures. And boy, is this one much of an upgrade. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. And this guy stands just about 17.5 centimeters, which makes him just about 7 inches. That's pretty tall. That's maybe too tall, in fact. So let's compare him to Deadpool, because that's our standard Marvel Legends figure. It's a little bit tall. It's not a big deal, I think, because Iron Man is obviously a guy in a suit, so he should be a little bit taller. In the movies, I don't know how tall he actually stands. I've never actually checked, so I'm not going to worry about it. Most Marvel Legends are technically out of scale anyway, so I don't think a 7-foot tall Iron Man is too much to worry about. So here's the good thing about this. It does have a lot of improvements on it. Very, very many improvements, so that's really cool. The other good thing is the Mark VII is my favorite suit, I think. I'm not sure. It used to be. It probably still is. But it does a lot of things really well, and still a couple things not so great. Before we get into that, though, let's talk about accessories. We have 2 fist hands, and then 2 repulsor hands, and then 2 repulsor blasts. That's it. No alternate head, no more other options. No flight stand, no nothing. I think that's good enough. It would have been nice to have a couple of repulsors for his feet so that we could make him flying, that kind of stuff, but that's okay. For his chest, I have to check to make sure mine's not a defect. It's just solid white, by the way, which is a little bit weird. There's no shading or anything else going on there. A little bit odd. But I don't know, that could be just mine being defect. It could be the way it is. Doesn't look bad, though. I don't mind it. But I think it should have had the same blue highlighting as the eyes. If you're going to make one way, you have to make the other that way too. It's also worth noting they did not paint the repulsors on the hands. So Hasbro's going to Hasbro. I guess no matter what they're doing, they're going to end up Hasbroing somehow. I think I'm going to make that a verb. It is now a verb. I've decreed it. Now let's compare. This is the Mark IV, if I remember correctly. I have to check the packaging. I'm pretty sure this is the Mark IV. Because we're back to the circle and the chest. Either way, this is not a bad figure. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So size-wise, the new one just towers over the old one. It is a massively bulky and just all-around beefy-looking figure compared to it. Much bigger. And then most of the articulation is the same. The only real difference is the ankle, so we'll set this aside. The old one did have a wide joint ball hinge. This does not, so that's another benefit. So let's go through the articulation. The head. Let's just pop it off. You have your hinge and your ball peg, and the head sits on it such that you can lean it back pretty far, but not very far. So it leans forward pretty well. That's good. And then when you try to go back, you can't. Not really. No combination of moving the head on the ball peg and using the hinge really works. So he's not going to look up that well. It's not bad, but it's not that great. I'm not going to pose him that way anyway, so I don't really care personally, but it's worth noting. You can lean the head a little bit on the ball peg, so that's good. The faceplate is a separate piece, but they executed it very nicely, so I'm very, very pleased about that. My eyes are a little bit sloppy. There's blue poking out around the edges, but that's okay. Now here's the thing that they didn't really do any better. Shoulder pads are still just soft plastic connected to the torso. They really, really should have connected them to the arms, because they work fine when you go out to the side, fine-ish. But when you bring the arm forward, we still have that issue, which is there's nothing you can do about that when your shoulder pad's connected to the torso. It's just impossible to make it work properly, so they should not have done that. Luckily, when you bring the arm out to the side and forward a little bit, it doesn't look terrible, so you can still kind of pose him doing a repulsor blast as long as you don't want his arms going forward. So be aware of that. That's still an issue. Otherwise, the shoulders work wonderfully, very nicely done. Bicep swivel's good. Double jointed elbow is really good. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge, so that's fine. Torso articulation is a diaphragm joint. It doesn't lean back all that far. It's just enough to put him in kind of a flight pose. He's still not looking very far forward, but it's good enough. Leaning forward doesn't really work. You can't do it at all. Side to side, it's pretty good. I will take that. That's fine. Full rotation, that's fine. The crotch is actually kind of a soft piece on top of like an inner skeleton. Although, of course, mine had someone's fingerprint glued to it from the factory. Thanks, Hasbro Factory Man, for giving me half your fingerprint. That's nice. Hips work really well going out to the side. No problem at all. Better than like every Spider-Man figure they give us, so that's really good. Bringing the hips forward, not so good. You really have to flex that soft crotch piece, and then they still don't go that far, but it's good enough. I think it's okay, and they do go back a little bit, so that's good. Thigh swivel's fine. Double jointed knee is good, and then the ankles have a hinge going back. That's pretty good. Going forward, yeah, not really. You can't really bring the foot forward. This time we do get an ankle rocker, which is part of a swivel hinge. It's not very good. It's very, very crooked. So what they should have done is given us a true ball hinge in that ankle. That would have been really nice, but they didn't. So it's much better than before. Not all that much better, but it is better. And we do get these. If this means a lot to you, then this will be a deal breaker for any other figure other than this one. You get the flaps on his back, which is awesome. I mean, I'm not going to probably pose him that way, really, because they're not that well detailed. They're good enough, but it's cool that they're there. I appreciate that they did that. And they did it really well. Like, it's a very, very well executed. It's very seamless. So that's nice. I like that. I think I would have much preferred a ball hinge ankle and shoulder pads that work properly, because those are the two issues that were the biggest issues on the previous figures. This one does have more paint, though, and the paint is clean. We have lots of silver and gold throughout, even on the back. Very nicely done. Still could use a little bit more, but ultimately, it's a really, really solid release, and I think pretty much any Marvel Legends collector should pick this up. Even if you don't collect the movie figures, Iron Man doesn't so much look like a movie figure as just another Iron Man suit, so you should really grab one. It's a really fun figure, and I'm guessing this is going to be one of the more popular ones, because I'm guessing the other figures, like Captain America and whatever, I'm guessing, again, I don't know for sure, that they're mostly just going to have extra paint details rather than full-on additions to the mold. So that's going to be something to find out. I don't know for sure. If anybody has any of them, you can let me know. I know like Thanos is getting a couple changes, but most of the other ones, like again, like Cap, I don't know. Maybe they're going to be basic figures with just more paint. Let me know if you have any. But either way, this is the definite must-have as far as I'm concerned. It's really awesome. Not perfect, but still really darn cool. So thanks for watching, guys. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you're not subscribed, I do have new videos up basically every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.